How's it going, guys? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology. Um, let's talk about this Venus retrograde in Aries. Everyone has been freaking out about it, and um, everyone's just very unsure of what it's going to be, and like putting a lot of fear and energy into it. And there's no need for that at all. It might be a weird little cycle. However, it's all about the matter of perspective that you put into it, and whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it. That's the beauty with astrology. Now, when this Venus goes retrograde in Aries, Venus, and this is going to be what this is about, is going to depend on your chart. However, Venus retrograde is taking things from the outside and taking it within. Every retrograde is, rather than going out forward and expanding and doing things and, whatever it is that's going on, it's taking that energy and bringing it inside. That's the whole. It's not a time to do, it's a time to look and time to reflect. Venus is all about love, intimacy, passion, romance, pleasure, fun, excitement. A lot of people say it doesn't rule money. However, like, Venus rules abundance. Venus rules like luxury things, and that, like, it rules money. It has that what's the word I'm looking for? Like that effect on people where, they want it just as bad as they want anything else. So Venus can rule money. Now when it's going retrograde, it's taking a look at what everything that it means to it. With this in Aries is all about me, myself, and I. It's all about self. It's all about, what can I create? What can I go do? How can I, like, just move in any sort of way? And Venus and Aries is definitely like, they're like, I always like to imagine that, like, they're on the, like, hunt. Like, they like to conquer. They like the challenge, the excitement and the adventure of it. Not necessarily like the Sagittarius, like, oh, the adventure, but more like, yeah, like, let's do something that's, fun for them. And Venus going retrograde in Aries is going to be a big look at what is fun for you. What do you really like? What do you really enjoy when it comes to all these things? Love, pleasure, fun, romance. It can work, and it can rule work too. If you have a love and dedication to your work, it could be what you want to, what are you putting into that, and what are you receiving out of it, sort of a deal. However, this is going to be a look at what you truly enjoy. Like, this isn't just like, oh, I like this, I like that, I don't really know. It's a really big look at what do you love, like what makes you feel loved to the deepest core, what makes you feel passion, what makes you feel, good about yourself, that you could wake up and just have, just be pumped up on life just to go get everything done. What excites you, what motivates you to love, what motivates you to love other people, how do you like to support other people and nurture other people, and how do you like that to be treated on yourself. With this Venus in retrograde, as far as regarding relationships, it's going to be a big look at who do I want in a relationship if you're single, and if you're in a relationship and you're really working towards that, it's going to be a really big look at what do I want to create more of in this relationship, what do I want to feel more of that makes me feel good, and what do I want to feel less of. And events can play out to where it could totally spin you in your shit, and you're like, like, I don't even know anymore, like, what's going on, this and that. However, that's the whole point of this retrograde. The universe right now is wanting people to look at these things. This is a big self-worth time right now, with Saturn going over Sagittarius, like at those last final degrees, really pushing ourselves to our boundaries, with all this stuff in Aries opposing Jupiter in retrograde. It's a big thing about people's, what do we really want with all this, and with Mercury just passing Neptune. Today is Friday the 3rd. With all this stuff passing Neptune, it's a really big look at, wow, like, I have a vision, I have a place to go, there's something I want to do, there's somewhere I want to be. However, like, can I do it? Am I capable of doing it? And with Venus right there, it's going to be a big, like, am I worthy of doing it? Am I capable of doing it? Like, do you even want to do it? And it's going to be a big look at, what do you want? Like, what do you love? Like, and that's the whole universe test, is like, you got to do what you love, you got to be yourself. That's the whole reason we're alive, really, is to feel love. It's the only energy in the whole universe. However, yeah, that's what this is going to be about. So when Venus retrogrades in Aries, that's what that whole theme is going to be about. That's what's going to be conscious on that emotional scale. And then on April 1st, April Fool's, I thought that was very funny. Venus will be hitting 0 degrees Pisces. That's when it's going to get interesting. Because with Aries, it's going to be a big, not necessarily like Libra, like I'm balancing out what it is, which is more that's what you're going to be doing internally and also what you're going to be doing externally as well. However, with Venus right there, it's going to be more of a, yeah, I want that. No, I don't want this. I want this. I want this. I want this. And so when it goes back into Pisces, it's going to be like a whoa, like now you're going to start feeling that emotional connection to what you've been going through, what you've been really weighing out. That's when it's going to be kind of like the real deal. Like, are you capable of doing it? It's kind of like, I guess, in a similar fashion, like imagine training for the Olympics your whole life. And you're training, and it's like, okay, you know what to do, what not to do. Then you get to the Olympics, and it's like, oh my God, there it is. There's the fear. I'm at where I told myself I would be. And with Venus going back into Pisces, it's going to be that emotional feeling, like that same feeling that you would get experiencing that, like in a sense, more though as though, like, what do I really want? What am I, not necessarily what am I capable of. However, with Pisces, it's like you got to listen to your higher self, to your soul, to your like what. I mean, you can't hide anything. That's what's so funny about Pisces, that you can stuff it all away and you can ignore it and avoid it. However, you can't hide it. Like it's there, it's present, it's real, and that's when it's Venus is going to do its magic, and it's basically going to be a big look at all that. And take this time to look at it. On April 1st too, it's going to be squaring Saturn. Like, don't bottle up. Don't crawl in a corner. Don't go and party and get all blackout drunk. Or if you have any addictions, like, don't trip that day, man. Like, please don't. I mean, don't do it, period. However, like, you want to really feel your feelings on this. If you don't feel your feelings now, they're always going to come up for you. And then what are you going to do? Feel your feelings now and experience them so you know how to move forward. Now with this Venus in Pisces, that shift is going to be, it's going to be a little wild. So warning you for that. Then it will start going direct on April 11th. April 12th. Now that I'm looking at it. Venus is going to go right over Chiron. This is going to be a very, very intense moment. Venus going over Chiron, two situations can play out because it's squaring Saturn. Oh, and Saturn will be retrograde too. Yay. And Mercury. Jeez. Woo. Man, April's going to be fun. Anyway, when Venus goes back onto Chiron, it will be sextiling Mars, which is good. We want that. Putting a lot of stable, grounded. Mars in Taurus is that it's going to be slow to change. It's going to be slow to get things going. However, if you're in alignment, really with who you are and what you really want to create, Mars is going to be making that slow but steady and sure movement for you. Venus going back onto Chiron is that this whole thing of what you've been focusing on, of what you want. It's going to bring up a lot of pain. It's going to bring up, this is a big transition. I'm moving on. I'm moving forward. And I mean, it could bring pain. However, it's going to bring so much joy. Like, when was the last Venus retrograde? Because good Lord, that was a crazy time. July 25th. July 25th, Venus retrograde from Virgo to Leo. July 25th until it went out of shadow. It went direct on September 5th, I think. However, it got out of shadow on October 10th. Wow. I can't tell you what a crazy, weird period that was. I mean, this was Venus going back into Leo, so more about like actually experiencing love and feeling appreciated, all that kind of stuff. However, that moment of time was such a big look at, wow, we really can experience things. Wow, we really can, feel good about ourselves and feel love and be able to create and, be our true authentic selves, our higher selves. Now with this going back in Aries, with this going into, with Venus retrograding in Aries and Pisces, it's going to be like, okay, I was able to feel that. I was able to feel, love and acceptance and, being proud and courageous and, actually enjoying my true self. Now it's going into, all right, now that I've enjoyed that, what do I want now? Because I was just, with the Venus and Leo, it was just kind of like stepping into the spotlight. It was kind of like, oh, wow, like, well, this is nice. However, now that you've experienced that, which was more of it kind of just happened. Now that it's in Aries, it's really a focus on, okay, now that I can get that, what do I want? what do I like? I mean, it's kind of like, if someone gives you a couple $1,000,000, like, go spend whatever you want, and you're a person that never spends any money on anything, so like, I don't even know what I want. Like, I have to actually think about that. So that's what this retrograde is really going to be about. So then it's going to touch Chiron. Beautiful. The big focus is here is that, let me get back to it. Saturn is going to be squaring this. Don't do anything that you don't want to do, especially with Saturn retrograde. Venus retrograde can bring back a lot of other people, and if you know that this isn't moving you forward, if this isn't taking you where you want to be, then you don't need to be doing it. It will bring up a lot of the same moons that we've been experiencing with everything in Pisces. Don't do it. Whatever is coming, if it's moving you forward in a progressive direction, that's challenging you, that's raising you on a higher vibration, that's where you want to go. And that's what you got to realize is, whatever you want, the universe is going to give it to you. You just have to be not only very clear, but emotionally and vibrationally in alignment with what you want. And with this Venus retrograde, that's what this whole thing is about, is you got to be clear, and the universe will give it to you. So then once it moves forward, it'll be it'll be direct on April 11th. However, it'll be out of shadow on May 18th. And basically, the difference between like it going direct and going into shadow is, okay, it's direct, things are moving forward. However, we would be like from April 11th till May 18th, we'll be going exactly through what we experienced from January 30th till March 4th. Everything we experienced through there, we'll be experiencing very similar emotional energy again. However, it's going to be not a different perspective, like a whole new door. It's kind of like, imagine you're walking, you're hiking, and you're up at first, you're on top, and it's really hot, there's no clouds, the nice cool down rivers down there. However, you're up at the top of the valley, you're hiking, it's hot, no shade, and then you decide to actually climb down the mountain and walk by the river where there's shade and there's water and it's nice and it's beautiful. That's what it's going to be, the same journey, just on a different path. Nice. And so when it goes forward, it'll still be opposing Jupiter. However, there's going to be a pretty dope looking cradle going on with Saturn retrograde. Saturn will be opposing Mars in Gemini. Mars will still be sextiling Venus. Good. That's what you wanted. With that Mars and Venus sextile, things will be moving forward. Things will be happening. You will be getting what you've been wanting, especially if you get really clear about what it is that you want, like with this Venus and Aries. And that's another thing too, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Ask for what you want. Feel actually accept what you want. That can be hard sometimes, of being like, I can do this. This is what I do want, and I'm worthy of it. I'm capable of doing it. That's what this whole thing's going to be. So do it. Wow, yeah, this, it's going to be good. So just focus on that. And don't worry about everything else. Mercury will be going retrograde, and Saturn will be going retrograde. Don't focus on that. Everyone will cross that bridge when we get there. Focus on what you want. Here's the thing about retrogrades. People say oh, don't, don't buy a car, don't, move during a Mercury retrograde. Sometimes you have to do what you got to do. So in this Venus in retrograde, if you're seeing things like, oh, don't do it, but, you're in a situation you have to do it. Just, you got to look at where your intention really is on that. Where are you focusing the energy? If it's like Venus retrograde, oh, I just met this crazy person, I'm really like them, I want to move forward with them, I want to see what they're all about, then do it. However, make sure your intention's clear and know what you're getting yourself into. It is a Venus retrograde. Only you know how it's really going to play out, because everyone knows exactly how their future is going to play out. Whenever something happens, you already know what the outcome is going to be, if you really listen to your intuition. However, just know what you're getting yourself into. Realize what you're doing. Set your intention clear, and clear that energy, and the planets are there to help you. You can be a victim of astrology and all your squares and oppositions and all the hard aspects, or you can embrace it and learn the lessons and use more of the positive energy that it gives you. And this is a pretty big moving forward deal. Another thing I want to hit on was the whole Pisces Aries thing. We're going from birth to back to death, back to birth. We're going from the last sign to the first sign, the last house to the first house, going over the ascendant area. It's like a big dark into light. It's always the darkest before dawn. and that alone plays like that whole, just that energy right there will play a big factor in this. It's going to be like, it's good. You're going to be shedding some new skin. You're going to be shedding skin, and not literally. Um, however, shed your skin, change. Like, we're in a great time for it. This is what you want to do. It's how it's going to take you really where you want to go. Um, and by the time it gets over to Chiron, it will be. Wait, let me double check on that. Whoops. Oh no, it won't. I thought it was going to be sextiling Pluto. But anyway, Pluto is in Capricorn. Everything, all this energy in Pisces is really it's a sextiling energy. So that theme is going to be there. It's just not going to be as super intense. So yeah, that's what I got for you for the Venus retrograde. Thank you guys so much for liking my Facebook and following me on Facebook and Instagram and my YouTube and subscribing. Really appreciate it. All of you guys, thank you so much again. If you'd like to book a reading with me, please do not hesitate to, send me an email through Instagram or DM me or, Twitter or Facebook, YouTube. I mean, if you can find a way to message me, just do it. I'm working on getting a website built up too right now, so that's in the works. So things will be a little bit easier to book and all that stuff. However, yeah, it's going to be great. Don't fear. Just get clear on what you want, and it's all good. So I will see you guys very soon. And bye.